On today's video we're going to be adjusting the ride height on the front of these coilovers. As you can see, it's sitting pretty low, very low, probably lower than it was originally with the shocks and springs in, so we need to raise that up. We're going to take it up around 10 mil to start with. This shouldn't take too long. So yeah, so as the suspension sort of settled in the few weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks since I've fitted it, it's actually lowered itself a little bit more on the front due to the weight, I guess. The back sort of stayed about where it was, so that's all good. But yeah, we're going to raise the front up just a fraction. We'll start with 10 mil and then see how far we get on with that, because it's actually catching on a piece of metal that holds the bumper onto the car, onto the wing. And we'll have a look at that once we get the wheel off as well, just in case we can create a little bit more clearance as well. I don't want the car to sit that low in the front. Because I've actually changed it from the springs and the shocks to the coilovers, the back actually sits down lower, so the front's actually, where it was previously like that, it's actually tipped it like that, so the front actual clearance on the splitter, which I've broke already, it's actually a bit more clearance, so that's better anyway. But yeah, let's get some tools. So with your coilover pack, you get all the spanners you need to adjust things. So we need to check the top lock rings for the spring seats are tight, and then we need to slacken the bottom lock ring, which I think will be that one on the shock, and then we should be able to turn the shock upwards. We'll also take a tape measure, because we'll need one of those. We'll measure from the spring seat down to the body of the shock, and then we'll raise that. We'll give that an extra 10 mil basically. So first thing, jack the car up, get the wheel off. Right, so familiar position for me these days is the car jacked up on axle stands. Great. But yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to be we're going to be making sure these two collars here are tight, which they should be because I checked them before I fitted them. We're then going to slacken this collar here, and then we're going to move this so that basically more thread appears, which will raise it. So we're going to measure from that lip there to that lip there with the tape measure between those, and then we're going to add 10 mil, so that's 10 mil bigger, and then we'll lock that back up, and that should be that. Also, I was mentioning that the wheels were catching slightly, the tyres were catching on something. Where is it at? It's that bit there. You actually see where it's starting to take a bit of the paint off there, which is fine. I can clean that up easy enough. But with a bit of luck, with a 10 mil extra clearance, which doesn't sound a lot, but it should clear that just fine afterwards. I wasn't expecting it to catch on anything, but there you go. That's all I can see it's been catching on. Yeah, it should be okay. 10 mil should hopefully clear that. So yeah, so go get my tools out again, the little C-spanner bits I've got. Double check that, measure that, loosen that, and then commence. So calling that 50 mil, and we're going to make that 60 mil. Okay, so that's now hand tight slack. Well, it is, trust me. You can move it around with that, no bother. But now you can see it's actually starting to turn the whole body of the shock. So that's actually what I want to happen anyway. I need to create 10 mil extra. So as I'm turning that, luckily that's just free as you like, and it's turning. So we'll keep turning this until we get the 10 mil that we're looking for. It may take a while, a few turns. So basically when I lock it back up again, I'm going to need to use another one of these on the top ring, so I can turn that one freely, which will allow it to lock. Yeah, this is actually a lot easier than I was expecting. I actually thought I'd have to unbolt the hub from, see those two bolts there? Take that off and rotate the body around, which would mean the drop link would have to come off, but no, it's a lot easier than I was expecting. And also, the key thing is you're not adjusting your spring seat as well, so your springs stay in the same height, stay in the same spring rate, because you're not compressing that, you're just basically moving the threaded part of the inside of the shocker. So we'll measure this now and see where we're up to. Well, I would if I could find my tape measure. It's pretty much as good as 60, so as long as I do the other side the same, we're all good. So that's that bit done. So now what we need to do is get that collar there to lock back up with that. So that's going to involve another C-spanner, this one here. And then all I need to do is just hold that in position there, and then turn the bottom one back the way until it locks, and then we're good. So you can even actually see on the dirt versus the clean threads where that ring was sat, so that's as far as we've gone up. That's all now locked back together, so this wheel can now go back on, and we can move on to the other side, which is exactly the same as doing this side, just on the other side. So there we go. I'll check the ride height once I've dropped the car back on the floor. Basically, as long as it doesn't catch that there, I'm happy, because that's the only thing that's annoying me. The ride height quality is actually, the quality of the ride, sorry, is brilliant. The actual suspension works fantastic. I'm very happy with it, to be honest. I'm not sure it'll entirely show up properly in the film, but that is actually sitting a lot higher than it was visually as well. Basically, I reckon it has gone up as much as I wanted, so that should hopefully be good. It should give us plenty of clearance as well away from the wing bolt there, hopefully. That was dead straightforward to do. So what I need to do is I need to get the tracking sorted on it next. Once I'm happy with that ride height, I'll take it for a run out tomorrow, make sure everything's alright, then I'll get it booked in for tracking. There's a place over the way who does it for tracking, so not too far to go. My next jobs are replace this front splitter and de-honeycomb this grill. That's all I'm going to do next. So this should apparently just pull out, but I don't want to break it because chances are I will. We'll look at that another day. But yeah, that there is because the car was too low. So basically this splitter has cost me a lot of money because I've had to buy coilovers and a new splitter.